What's going on, guys? I'm a regular guy with the Regular Guy Firearms channel, and with me I have Todd from Red River Tactical.
Hello.
He's not much for words. So, you guys read the title and you know what the video is about. Before we get going on a whole bunch of other stuff, I have to, because I said I would, answer a question from the Patreon supporters. Yeah! Tom asks for a logical progression of stuff purchasing as far as the gun guy world is concerned. The way that I interpreted your question, dude, is not how I did it, but a way that I would go back and do it if I could do it again. If not, correct me in the comments after this video. But what personal experience and whatnot has taught me, and I'm sure maybe it's the same for you, is that don't do what I did and just start running out and buying shit.
Yeah.
Like, I bought like a million guns, all kinds of random gear, like a lot of the cheap stuff too. And a lot of that wasn't really like helpful to me. So if I was to do it again, it would probably be something like, okay, well, if I'm doing like the concealed carry pistol thing, if I have the intent to carry and stuff, while you're doing your carry permit stuff and all that, what I would personally do before anything else is I would get a good quality belt.
Oh, definitely.
Like, that was the first thing that I recognized I needed to do, is not to use that real cheap ass like Black Hawk nylon thing that flexes really fucking hard. And I totally did that. So like a good heavy duty leather belt, you guys have seen that I'm not always about the frickin' Cobra clips and shit like that. A good heavy duty leather belt, like 1.5 inch diameter, that type of stuff. That works. Because the belt is what holds all the stuff together. And then do some research and stuff. I'll watch some of my videos and see some of the reviews that I have up, and then a holster I think would be next.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, a holster accommodating what you would think you were going to do. Most of the time it's people that figure that they're not going to carry a light on a pistol, which I totally understand. It's like a trickle-in thing. It's not really a, hey, I'm just carrying a light now, because it's usually really uncomfortable to start. So probably a holster without a light, and then learning how to use that pistol and stuff once you get the pistol to throw into that holster. So that's a good segue into, after you buy said pistol, go get like training and stuff like that. Get a lot of practice, learn how to draw from concealment and all of that. And then from there, it's funsies mode, really. I mean, like, if you decide to do anything else, you already have the core things there. I mean, what?
And that's the same with me. A good belt is a must. Like he said, pistol with a light. I have a Glock 19 with a Surefire XC1, but I also, like I'm carrying today, is just a Smith & Wesson M&P with a Bravo concealment outside the waistband holster. Depending on what I'm going to do, if I'm going to be at a theater or going to be out at night, I'm going to carry the one with the light on it. But here in the morning, if I'm just going to run to town, come back, I'm going to do what's most comfortable. So.
Exactly. Yeah, and what you're going to find more than anything else is that you have like 10 million setups, or you could make 10 million setups. Like,
Definitely.
I have a like my top sock drawer, instead of socks, it's just like holsters, lights, random bullshit, like that type of thing. And it's similar as far as like lights, or I'm sorry, not lights, rifles and whatnot, right? Where I would honestly start with rifles, to me personally, is it's not like something to where I'm going to start with a sling right away, because as far as like home defense and stuff like that, I may catch some flack for this, but I don't personally believe a home defense rifle 100% requires a sling. I personally don't believe this is the case. So to me, it's one of those deals where research on the item itself is a must beforehand, and then you pick up the rifle. And like the bare minimums for like home defense and stuff, to me, are a good set of iron sights and a light. Like, you can get a lot done with those things, especially if you know how to use a set of iron sights correctly, particularly with like super close range type stuff. And then from there we can get into, once we have the core stuff there, good magazines, like avoid hex mag and ATS and garbage like that. It's stuff like Gen 2 P mags, brand new GI mags from like Brownells or something. Lancer mags were great, that type of deal. And then from there, it's like Funzy mode or Experiment mode or whatever. So if you have any further questions on that, I'd go ahead and ask after this, but I hope I answered your question right. So today we're going to go into shotguns, right? This is a welcome addition for a lot of people because they haven't seen shotguns very often.
Right.
Most of the time, because I'm sipping on the carbine and the handgun sauce and all that jazz, and I've done more belt-fed machine gun videos on this channel than shotgun videos, so we should probably fix that.
Yeah.
So what we're here to do today is address myths more than anything else, I want to say. The first thing that a million gun shop employees will try to tell you is that when you buy a shotgun, that's it. Just like wave it in the general direction and shoot.
We'll scare them off.
Yeah, and that noise is a noise that no bad guy ever wants to hear, and all that bullshit. Not factoring that a lot of home invasions happen in like teams. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to show you guys shot spread progression between the two most common shotguns that are available, and that's a 12 gauge, and that is in a 870.
Yes.
And this is a Weatherby. It's an auto 20 gauge, and I may be doing a review on this before too terribly long. But the two most common shotguns used for like home defense and stuff like that are 12 and 20 gauge. So we will see what these guys deal with as far as shot spread and whatnot. I know almost nothing about 20 gauge shotguns, so I'm interested to see where that goes. And we're going to start from a good self-defense distance of about 3 yards, and we're going to back up to it. I know the birdshot guys are going to come out and say some stuff, but you'll have my opinion on that here in a second. So that guy is still walking around, and that's why you don't use it. If he was determined enough, he would have killed the shit out of the user. So there you go. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to rotate. We're about at the 3 yard line. The left target is going to be 12 gauge, and the right target is going to be 20. I need to make sure that my little viewfinder is set up correctly. And we'll take you to the targets individually so that you get to see what's up. So, when you're ready, go ahead and heart box this fucker with 12 gauge, and then I'll follow up with the 20.
All right, we're doing buckshot, right?
Yes. It's a couple of things up.
All right.
All right. And my turn. All right. So, I'm going to set this boomstick down real quick. So, we have our 12 gauge, and we have our 20 gauge. I'm not sure about you guys, but if it were me, I'd have to aim that. That's kind of the point. We're going to back up now. All right, we are back to the 7 yard line. A little low, I think, huh?
I was aiming low. I didn't want to go to the same spot.
Ah, well,
I
okay,
wanted
cool.
to see the spread.
I want to see you spread. All right, so here we go. I'm going to be that guy. Okay, so you guys can see the shot spread between the two. We're going to back this up to 10 yards. Yeah, 10 yards. All right. So we are back at 10 yards. He's going to lead us off here with the 12 gauge. All right. Now 10 yards is a pretty good hallway length distance. And here's a 20. It's not too bad. It's not great. And we're going to back off to 15. We are back at 15 yards now. Yeah, go ahead and lead us off with the buckshot. All right. And I'll just go straight for the center with this guy. And it pretty much covered like his whole chest. Right. So now that we're back up here, the shot spread stuff is fairly convincing. You can actually see that. You start spreading that out to about 15-ish yards and you're still on like a whole person. It's not like wiping out a hallway. Yeah. Now, this guy, and the closer you are, you see these big, huge holes. That isn't just buckshot. That's freaking, those are wads. Right. You can see them jumping in there too, just kind of bouncing off. But, so the shot spread itself is not exactly something that you can just wave in a direction. There's a couple of things to note here. The first is that the whole pattern, or the patterns on both of those shotguns were fairly tight. Once we stepped out to 15 yards, which is like a length of a pretty good hallway, for a lot of people, it's like most of the length of their friggin' apartment or whatever. If you're going to use a shotgun for like home defense in an apartment, top floor. But the spread isn't crazy. It stays on the upper thoracic of a dude fairly easily. But there is something to note on that as well, though, because depending on what type of ammo that you use, you may end up with different shot patterns. You guys saw very obviously that his was drifting off to the left a little bit. And it may be attributed slightly to the fact that he went away from his bead sight to a fiber optic. Right. That I see on it there. And guys make sight changes all the time. That's fine. It really is. You just have to know where that's going to shift as far as your defense loads and stuff go. I mean, there's something that you wanted to mention before.
Well, yeah, barrel length with this tactical model, it's got an 18-inch barrel. My son, he's got a 12 gauge. It has a 20-inch barrel, and just a 2-inch barrel length difference makes that pattern at 15 yards. His is a lot tighter than what mine is. It's almost half the difference. So your barrel length is going to determine your spread too. So it's just something important to know.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of varying and different opinions and stuff like that, and what barrel length that you should go to and stuff like that. And me personally, it's one of those things to where, like, shotguns are barricading guns to me personally. Yeah. So the extra barrel length isn't really gonna be, what's the word?
It's not going to be a nuisance to you because you're not cutting corners and pieing corners and all that stuff.
I mean, it's stuff like that. I mean, you guys have seen on like my 20-inch AR review where I talked about taking corners with a 20-inch rifle and stuff like that. That's doable because it's a 5.56 rifle. A 12 gauge with that same barrel length might be a little bit harder to do because if I have to take a shot with a stock outside of my shoulder, I may be counterproductive to myself.
Definitely.
But to me, shotguns are barricading type firearms anyway, me personally, as far as home defense. Mostly because if it's as far as like a home defense plan and stuff, if you don't have a place to go, meaning if you don't have like little kids and stuff to go into rooms with, barricade behind the bed or whatever, use the shotgun and it's good to go. And there's a lot of people that are very against the use of a shotgun for home defense. For a variety of reasons, and I understand a lot of those reasons. But the key thing that I think is that should not be understated with a 12 gauge, particularly an auto 12 gauge with full powered buck in it, is that using one of those turns you into the best submachine gun shooter of all time. You know, because with each individual pellet that he fired out of his full powered buck, it's about the same diameter as a 9mm round, but there's 8 at once. Okay, so if you load it up like an 1100 or something, and you're guarding a door, because we're not worried about the stuff in the house, we're worried about you behind the door, and then fuckwit decides to come through the door. Well, now you have the greatest submachine gun skills of all time, without having to worry about all the submachine gun stuff. You know what I mean? And it's arguably far more controllable and easier to use than something like a pistol under the same circumstances. Now, granted, a rifle can do a lot of the same things, but a lot of people count out the shotgun entirely as a home defense thing. and you guys saw the accuracy spreads and stuff like that, that's not really the case. You don't have like that errant accuracy that a lot of people talk about, and a lot of people use that as a deterrent to using a shotgun for home defense because they're afraid of like errant shot flying all over the place.
Yeah.
But when it's
not gonna happen.
Yeah, but when it's from like the bedroom to the bed to the door, you're not going to have those issues, and it cannot be disputed. Aside of a 50 BMG, a 12 gauge shotgun is the most powerful shoulder fired thing that you can use to stop that dude altogether. You know, if he's not done after one, he'll be done after 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Basically.
And one thing to remember too is over penetration with the shotgun. If you live in an apartment, that it's probably going to go through 2 or 3 apartments before it's going to stop. So,
Yeah.
but just be careful about that over penetration, because at close distances they do have a whole lot of penetration power.
Exactly. And that's what I was talking about before, like second floor.
Yeah.
But even if you are on the first floor, angles are a big deal. A big thing that is that's preached by a lot of guys is that if you're barricading a door or something like that, you want to use the bed itself as essentially a bench, to where you're set up like here's your bed counter or bed top and stuff like that, and you're basically angled down way behind it so that it's angled up, so that if you're firing a shot and you know it over penetrates the dude, or some of the shot misses, in the event that some of it may or may not, it's still angled up towards Jesus, and he's the only one that's going to be offended by that, so it's not a big deal. I've never really seen Jesus throw a lightning bolt at somebody because somebody fired a random shot into the air. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So we appreciate you guys watching. There will be more shotgun stuff to come. We want to experiment with like slugs and stuff like that too. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to start a small series of shotgun videos and stuff. I have a couple of shotguns that I want to review, at least 3 now. So prepare to see more of that. Prepare to see a lot of shotgun slug stuff, because for whatever reason I have a million of those. So we're going to go ahead and start doing a lot of that. If you have any questions on this, or little comments or concerns, go ahead and throw that in the comments box below. You have a YouTube channel, do you not?
Yes, it's Red River Tactical and Outdoors. So check me out. I also have the Red River Tactical and Outdoors Facebook page and Instagram. So.
Yep, you guys are aware that we have the Facebook page and stuff like that too. It's still up, it's still going. If you want to support this channel, we started a Patreon thing for it not too long ago. There's a big old reward system for it now, including discount codes, access to content early, getting your questions answered on video, and first your video ideas get submitted and documented so that we can wade through them and all that jazz. And there's additional things that we want to do to help train other guys. So go ahead and check out our Patreon page if you want to see what we can do for you because of what you do for us. So with that being said, though, guys, remember, a regular guy's firearm is the last defense against tyranny. Be easy.